Hi everyone, welcome back to Chop's Garage. We've got a previously sold car in for repair, and I think when you hear the story on this one, I'm expecting to get a lot of grief in the comments. So yes, I've just picked this up from a customer that we sold it to 10 months ago. Yeah, I believe it was 10 months ago, it might even be a little bit longer than that. So we bought this Fiat Panda from a subscriber about 10 months ago and sold it to somebody that lived close by to me in the village I live. Needed a little runabout. We agreed a price of $3,995. It's a 2014, had about 70,000 miles on it. And as part of that process, I agreed that I would do the cam belt as part of the MOT. We're going to put a fresh MOT on it as well. Now obviously a cam belt isn't too expensive on these, but it's still quite a lot to eat. But unfortunately when it went down for the MOT, it then needed lower arms, we need to do top mounts, I'm going to do front struts and front discs and pads. So the total bill with oil and filters altogether was about £950 worth of work on the car. That includes VAT, so whatever that is minus the VAT. The gentleman said that I know said, oh, I'm a bit concerned the price is going to go up. I said no, the price is the price. We agreed for $3,995. Whatever it costs me to get for an MOT is what it costs me to get for an MOT. That unfortunately is the way the car game works. You win some, you lose some, but you know, we still had a little bit of margin in the car. We were doing all right. Then turned out the stereo wasn't working particularly well, so I had to get a replacement stereo for it, which was about another £80 or so. Get that fitted and we're away. I thought we're good to go, and the car went out the door. Happy, very happy customers, but we ran into an issue quite quickly, and that was that they've got a very steep slope on their drive. It's a lot steeper than this, and when they were parking the car up there, they were struggling to put the handbrake on enough to stop the car rolling. So I popped by the house and tried it out, and sure enough, if I got behind the car with the handbrake on and gave a bit of a push, I could start it rolling down the slope. So I said, right, we'll get that checked out. I brought it back to the guys at Moore's. They checked it over, adjusted the handbrake, checked all the brakes. Obviously we had new brakes on the front, and they said we're good to go. Took it back to the customer, put it on the slope. I put the handbrake on, it was able to hold, but after a few days I got a phone call again saying they're still struggling to pull the handbrake up enough to get it to hold. And to be fair, you'd have to put it up very high to get it to hold on the slope, and I don't think they were quite strong enough to do that. So I got the car back again. The Moore's guy said, look, all we can do, James, is we'll change the handbrake cables out for fresh ones, and we'll do the shoes on the back, the brake shoes on the back. I think our shoes on the back, aren't they, on these? Yeah, they are, yeah. We'll replace that. So I ran into about another £300 worth of work on handbrake cables, brake shoes, the works. Got it back to the customer, and yeah, we're all good. It could stay on the slope now. So yeah, like we're down to a very thin margin on the car now. About 7 months, the car developed a bit of a misfire issue and wouldn't run, and they gave me a ring, said could I help. Popped down, plugged the code reader in. I read a code for a crank sensor, which is quite common on these 1.2s. So got hold of a crank sensor, gave a chap I know in the village who's a mechanic a few quid to fit it for me. They paid for the sensor, I paid in a few quid to fit it. Everyone was happy. We did kind of a 50-50 on it. Again, goodwill. I sent it out the door, obviously with like a 3-month 3,000 mile warranty, being a 10-year-old car. But because they're in the village and I know them and it wasn't too expensive, we got it done. So we were now at a point where, to be honest, the car wasn't really making much money at all. But we had a happy customer and reputation remained intact, and despite what people think, you do not make money on every car. It doesn't matter how cheap you get them. You can steal a car for peanuts and you'll still end up losing on some of them. I didn't actually steal this one for peanuts. We gave the subscriber a fair price for it. With a car of this age, you just never know what an MOT is going to throw up. So the burning question, why have I got the car back after 10 months and well after the warranty period? Well, the answer is a bad gearbox. When you drive the car along, I'll probably video it for you in a moment. When you drive the car along, you get a grinding, grating noise as you're pulling away in the first couple of gears. It quietens out once you get into the higher gears. That's probably because you're up to speed. So I'm pretty confident that we've got a bad output bearing on the gearbox. The customer gave me a the customer gave me a ring and said, you know, this is the noise we get and it's pretty awful. And we've had our friend Mark, who's the mechanic that helps me out from the village, have a look at it. He says the gearbox is bad. I was pretty confident from his diagnosis it would be, because he knows what he's doing. And now I want to be clear, they didn't ring me up demanding for me to do the work. They didn't ring up in a huff or anything. They just said, you know, can you help us out, James? And I asked them how many miles they'd done, and it turns out they've only done 1,600 miles in the car since they've had it from me. 1,600 miles. Now this is the bit where I'll probably get a bit of grief and told I'm too soft and I'm too I'm in the wrong game as a car dealer. But in my mind, 1,700 miles for suspension, brakes, that kind of thing, fair enough. But for a gearbox, that gearbox has probably, you know, had some kind of an issue when it went out the door, has now gradually built up to the point where we can hear it grinding away. So I felt obliged to help out, and yeah, so that's why I've gone and picked the car up today. That's why we've got a reconned gearbox in the garage waiting to go in. The deal I arranged with the customer was, I said to him, look, I want to help you out on it. There's a few things at this age the car will benefit with anyway. If we can do the gearbox, let's put a clutch in it. You're nearly at 12 months since you had the car, so let's do an oil and filters on it. And so what we've done is we've agreed that they're kind of paying for the oil, the filters, the gearbox oil that we're going to put in obviously, because that's another sort of serviceable item. They're going to pay for that kind of thing and contribute towards the labour and a bit towards the box, because obviously this is called betterment now. They're going to be getting a totally reconditioned gearbox in the car when the car went out the door with a 75,000 mile gearbox. So we could have obviously gone within rights, gone and found a box with similar miles on it that would have been cheaper than a recon gearbox. So we are doing what's known as betterment to the car, and we've agreed, like I say, a bit of a deal where I'm going to probably end up eating another, I'd say, £300. They're going to end up getting probably, I would say, another £900 worth of work done, and I think their contribution is going to be about 250 quid towards it, something like that. That was the retail cost I was quoting there. So we've done a bit of a deal on it, but we've got to get it turned around quick. We've got PT in today, and this is going to kill me if we can't get this done within a reasonable time frame. Done a lot of these gearboxes before on Fiat 500s. Imagine I've got a little bit more room in a Panda. I would have thought we're going to get it inside on the lift, and we're going to get it swapped out and see if we can't get it back to the customer within the day. Now obviously there is an allowance within law for this kind of issue as well. If you buy a car from a dealer, even if they put a 3-month or a 6-month warranty on it, if you can prove a fault existed at point of sale, even after 6 months and up to 5 years, if you can prove a fault existed at point of sale, then you actually can make a claim against the dealer. Now obviously this is a 76,000 mile car. Is it fair to say that via fair wear and tear it might need a gearbox? Probably, yeah, I'd say up to 100, you know, around about 180 to 100k. It is fair wear and tear on these that it might need a gearbox, but they've obviously done very low mileage, as we discussed. And I think if we ever were to go to court on something like this, the judge would probably deem that it was faulty at point of sale. An expert would probably say it was faulty at point of sale. That's what you normally do, is get experts' report on it. So I don't need the law to tell me what is fair. And I think we've worked out a fair deal. Comment down below. So I imagine I'm getting lots of comments already. So let's get the car in and let's get it sorted. Let's see if we can't capture this. We've got the traditional squeaky slave. Let's see if we can't capture the noise for you as we pull away up here. So that squeak is the squeaky slave, which is a standard thing for these. You can replace it. Can you hear that whirring noise? No, you can just hear my seatbelt alarm now. Try that again without my seatbelt warning on, see if you can hear it. You must be able to hear that by now. So there we go, a lot of grating, a lot of grumbling going on. Definitely in the box, so I think the diagnosis is correct. So let's whip it in and get that box out. So gearbox is out. Pete's done most of it. I've just come and done the wiggling it out bit, because it's a bit of a game on these. Whoever designed them, first of all, you've got to get the arm out here to be able to get the gearbox out. If they made that arm easy to remove, you'd be all right, but you've got to get the bumper off to get that arm out of the way. And then even when it wants to hit this as you bring it down all the time, it's a right pain in the bum. But it's out now, so we're going to get the clutch off. Get the new clutch in, and we've got to swap the selector over from the gearbox, which we made sure we haven't disturbed the position of it.
That's okay.
So we manhandled the new gearbox in, which is a lovely shiny grey. You can probably see down there. Hopefully that's not what they've done is painted it grey. It's supposed to be fully refurbished, but it's from the Punto man. I've used his boxes loads and loads of times. It comes with a 12-month warranty on it. So yeah, got the gearbox back in with a new clutch, and obviously new release bearing. I forget what the box is for that. LUK I think we used for that one. So yeah, new clutch, refurbished gearbox in, just all bolted together. We have also got oil and filters, doing oil and filter service while we're at it, because it was coming up to a year anyway, as I said. While Petey's been doing that, I have been helping, but I've just done a deal where I've just sold the blue Mazda 2, the 2007 one we had kicking around somewhere here. Lady's come and needed a bigger car, just part X'd in her. It's a slightly tatty little Citroen C1, but there's always a market for a C1, isn't there? I've got to run down and get a pinch bolt because this one's threaded. So I'm just nipping down the moors in this little part X. And that should be the last step of getting the Panda back together. So Panda is back with the customer there, very happy bunny. I thought I'd go through with you the numbers on that Panda. I always say to you that all these channels that show you a car and how much profit they make should revisit it 12 months later and see if they did actually make profit or not. Because if they're the kind of garage that does help people if they have problems, they're not making the kind of numbers that they would, that they look like they are. And obviously most people would want someone to do what I did, which is help them with the car if they had a problem within 12 months on the gearbox. They'd want help. And this shows you why you need to pay all the money it's being asked off a dealer if you want them to do that kind of thing for you. So Panda was £1,700. So you might think, oh, £4,000 car, you only gave £1,700, £2,000 odd margin. Too much margin. Well, you can see here, this is a clear example of why it isn't. Just the MOT alone, when we put it in, was £969 for the MOT. Obviously got £154 back in VAT. So just the basic work to get it up to MOT standard cost that much. That was things like lower arms, tyres, that kind of thing. Then the silly things that nickel and dime is deaf. Got a wing mirror for it because it had the wrong wing mirror on it. Got a stereo for it. Then there was the issue with it not holding on the driveway, so we had to get the brakes done. Then I think we needed, what's that? I forget what that was. That might be the stereo code or a wiring loom for the stereo. Then we had to get the crankshaft sensor for it when the crankshaft sensor played up. Then there is the gearbox that we've got from Punto Man, the clutch, the oil filters, the gearbox oil, and the slave. And that gave a grand total of £3,842, of which we can claim £327 worth of VAT. But we have to pay the VAT man £382 VAT. So even though we're only making £98 on the car, we're going to pay the VAT man £382, because remember, the VAT man only cares about what you bought the car for and what you sold the car for. And you've got to pay your VAT on that, regardless how much you spend here. So the net profit on that deal was £98. All that work and effort, and we've only made £98 out of the car. Now this is also a good example of why a lot of dealers won't touch older cars, why they won't do cars at £4,000 and they won't do cars that are 10 years old, because this is how you can get nickel and dime to death on them. This is why people want to do cars 5 years or younger. It also explains to you why some dealers, if they sell you a car, someone says, look, month's warranty, engine and gearbox only, that's it. After that, you're on your own, because this is how much it actually costs to run an old car over 12 months. And not a particularly bad car. I mean, yes, any model can have a problem with gearbox. But yeah, I thought it was worth going through those figures with you, just to explain to you and just show once again what this game really does cost. Obviously, none of my time is allowed for, and in that running back and forth, picking things up, dropping off, speaking to people, organising everything, that's that's on the wayside. And because there is a profit there, I'll still end up paying tax on that as well. But yeah, I just thought this would be a good example. If you went to buy a car at £4,000 from a dealer and you wanted them to be the best dealer in the world that sorted out absolutely anything for you that came up, this is how it could end up looking. So when people try and come along and go, oh, got it up for 4, can you do 3.5? This is why it's fair to say, if you are going to be a good dealer, you should say absolutely not. The price is the price, end of. I mean, obviously this is a bit of an extreme example because of the gearbox, but even if you take the gearbox out of it, you know, you're still only talking about £500 profit, £600 profit. So we're still not working with huge numbers here. And I always say, you know, the net profit for a dealer on a used car is normally about 10 to 15%. So if you come along to look at a £4 car and ask for £500 off, you're pretty much asking for all the profit out of the car. Anyway, so if you enjoyed that slice of real life car trading, please do me a favour, make sure you've hit that subscribe button down below. Petey's hoovering out another car. Yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you can be notified when future videos come out. Remember, you're not committing to anything financially at all. You're just saying to YouTube, I like the channel, let me know when future videos come out. So please make sure you've hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget, we have still got one of our raffles on the go. We raffle off cars and give a proportion of the proceeds to charity. And we've got one that is ending very soon, in fact, which is the Audi A3 convertible over here, which we put a new MOT on, advisory free. It's freshly serviced. It'll come out with a warranty. It's also to go, only 45,000 miles. Lovely car in lovely condition. Tickets are just £2 a ticket. And the charity we're supporting with this one is North Devon Hospice. Unfortunately, one of our subscribers recently passed away. North Devon Hospice were brilliant to him, so we're making sure that we support them with this raffle. Like I say, there will be a link in the video description down below, or just Google Chops Garage raffle. As you can see, lots more stock in. So as I said, make sure you are subscribed so you can keep up to date with all the goings on of my car trading adventures. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I shall see you on the next one.